And
did you when you were making films, were you aware of competition with other women in scenes? Did that happen in those days that
you mean
women
trying
were
to
upstage and
outstage?
other women?
Yes.
Did that happen? How did that go?
Well, that didn't happen so much because of not of the acting, but the point of it is that this was about the second picture I'd made, and I just walked around, I had something to do, I just did it, and forget that we were supposed to have it here and here and here. So finally he said, well, put a thing around her, he said, and then she'll stay there. So, because I'd move around as I felt, you see. And this darling Dorothy Sebastian, she had been there. She was an actress, well known, and she'd been there for quite a time. So she came up and whispered in my ear, "You're going to be great in this picture." And, I knew I was, but that just helped me even more, to think, because she'd been on the stage, on the screen there for quite some time. And to have
how about with you and Crawford? You were much, much better looking than Crawford. So did she have little tricks to try to get attention? In the scenes,
probably. I don't know about that. I wouldn't want to answer that.
Anita,
what do you think?
Remember the time that you had a scene where you have to beat up Johnny Mac Brown? The picture was our dancing daughter.
Yes.
And you have to beat him up. You're intoxicated, and he's your husband. And Crawford went to you before the day you shot it. She went to you that morning and said, "Now remember, we're just pretending. We don't want to hurt Johnny, do we?"
Oh, right.
She was trying to get you to pull back.
Yeah, because I was kind of kicking too. See.
Let's start that all over again. Say, well, in Dancing Daughters.
All right. In Dancing Daughters, I didn't think that there was anything going on there, but I found out in Dancing Daughters, she pulled a little trick on me because I had to fight with this man who was supposed to be my husband. And I was really fighting, kicking and bang, 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 And so she came up to me and she said, "Anita, be careful, you wouldn't want to hurt Mr. whatever his name was." What was his name again?
Johnny Mac Brown.
He said, "You want to hurt Mr. Mac Brown." So that kind of pulled me back a little bit, you see, because I was kicking and, and everything. So that was, I think, done for that reason, because she had no reason to worry about him as far as I was concerned personally or anything. I think that she just figured there was maybe a good thing to keep me from getting too much attention, see, because I'd get in there and I'd fight him, and everything. And I got a lot of wonderful reviews, too, on doing things, really rough. And I remember one that said, this man was talking about me, and he said, "She's a newcomer. Watch for this newcomer." He said, she's beautiful. She brings beauty, something else, and magnetic unself-consciousness. See, I'd get in there
Let me ask you another question. In Janet Leigh's era, you had to work all day at the studio, and then you had to go to parties so that you could be photographed and interviewed at parties, so that they would have the fan magazines and everything. Was that very well developed in the 7 years that you were there? Did you have to work almost 20 hours a day?
Well, on some things I did on the Broadway Melody, because you see that won the Academy Award too. The Bessie Love and myself and a young man from New York, I've forgotten his name. He sang "You Were Meant for Me." And that became quite a big hit. And so, but as far as, what was the question again now? You asked?
Did you have to work like 20 hours a day? Were you
at
expected
times,
after working all day to go out at night so you could be photographed so that they could write about you?
Well, not so much that. Sometimes we had to do it because say Noah Shearer was making a picture. Well, she was Mrs. Thalberg, she'd naturally get the best time, and then we'd have to work sometimes at night. But when you are working like that, if they tell you you're going to do it, if you're really involved with your work, that's it. If you're told to do it, you do it.
How many days a week did you work?
I worked, I think, about 6. I think we had Sunday off, as I remember. But if there was something really big that had to be done, we probably would have done it, even if it was Sunday. But although I didn't want to work on Sunday. But nevertheless, we would do what we were asked to do. That's about the size of it.
Janet Leigh said that she worked on 6 days a week, too. And that on Saturday she was always tired, and that's when she always had her accidents. That's when she would fall, or she'd miss a cue and hurt herself. She was always burning herself, or breaking her arm. She broke her arm once when they were doing tight shots on Saturday to finish something, and the guy, missed the cue and she fell. Did you ever get hurt in the 7 years that you were making movies?
No, not in that sense. I got hurt when I had to fall the 4 steps, but I mean, I didn't really get hurt. I just got, uncomfortable. I mean, but you couldn't say that I was really hurt. But I was a little bruised, maybe. I don't even remember that because you see, I was so involved with it that I wouldn't have even noticed if I'd felt bad or anything. If I thought I did a good shot. You see, I would be so.
Was there any scene that you ever refused to do?
No, there was one I wanted to though. This director, he directed Garbo, I think, in quite a few things, and so he told me, he said, "I want you to do this one now, and I want you to cry with just one tear going down your cheek." Well, one tear going down your cheek. I did it. All that night, I thought, now that's the only night I think I had to stay awake and wondering if I was going to do it right. Because try it sometime. You can't have anything running down here. It's just one thing. He wanted an effect. He was that kind of an artist. That the director was that kind of a person that he would. At least I found him that way. That went for effects. You see, and he wanted that effect of one tear, just one. Try it sometime, sweetie. You can't have any tears here. Just one coming down there, and I did it. And then you know what happened? Somebody walked in and opened the door, and I had to do it again, and I did it. And I think that's the only thing that kept me awake one night. I mean, no matter how much I had to do, I always felt I could do it just fine. But that was the one thing that kept me awake, I think, a part of the night. How am I going to get one tear going down the cheek?
Now they just put a glycerin on you.
Yeah, that's right. You could just don't worry about it. But no, this director was very punctual, very wanted it the way he wanted it. No.
That must have taken tremendous control to be able to do that.
It did. I mean, yes, it tried sometimes. In other words, this one can go down, but this one you can't do anything with. You have to just stop it there. And I did do it. And then somebody walked in the door, and I had to do it again. And I did it.
That's fantastic. Okay. I think we have everything. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. It is so wonderful. Turn it off and let her cool down.
Okay.
She's hot. I don't want to.
Remember, Anita, you had read a magazine article. There was a picture of you in a magazine, and opposite was Clara Bow. It was a beautiful Clarence Sinclair Brown picture of you.
Oh, it was very good. I mean, it was very sort of,
Clarence Bull.
Clarence Sinclair Bull. Anyway, it said actresses shouldn't, it was called What's Happening to Anita Page was the article. Actresses shouldn't look like this. They should try to be more like Clara Bow. It was publicity for Clara Bow. She was getting ready to do It. And you went down, she was getting ready to do the movie It. This is 1926. You went down to where the magazine is published, and you said, "What do you mean? This is going to be my life's work. I don't want to look like Clara Bow." And the man was so impressed with your magnificent story.
That's the truth.
Yeah, I know. So let's tell that story. That's a wonderful woman's story.
Yeah, I think it is too. Because, I mean, in other words, I conquered because I didn't give up. In other words, I would not accept that.
Tell that to Carole.
Tell me the story.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. The thing of it was that I was going to make movies my life's work, and I knew I could do it because people wanted to photograph me, and I mean, I knew I photographed well, and that's what you have to have. There was a great beauty here that one time that was she had some little thing in her face. She thought she was going out and make millions. She went out and she could never photograph because of this thing that was there. And apparently in those days they didn't take things out the way they do today, so she never made it. I mean, she did. She went back and she made it as a model, but she never made it in the movies.
But this article that you were looking at about Clara Bow had a picture of you and Clara Bow.
So one day I saw this article that showed myself and Clara Bow, and it said, "This is what you should look like. You should look like Clara Bow." Can you start out that way, and then tell me how you took the article into the man?
Well, I didn't want to look like Clara Bow, thank you. I still loved the Grecian beauty, that style, and I was like that. I photographed like that and so on. And so I just went in and I said,
Let's back up, Doc. Let's say one day I saw this article.
And describe what it looked like in the magazine when you opened it.